Now I start Accutane. Let's see how things go. Hopefully my skin will get better after this. Okay, so it's been about 15 days, actually 15 capsules that I've taken for Accutane, otherwise known as isotretinoin. I'm just doing a log to keep track of how my skin is doing. So what happened is 3 days into taking these, I felt my stomach, it wasn't like pain or anything like that, but it was just this uncomfortable feeling in my stomach, especially at night, right before I slept. And also whenever I felt like hungry or like no food was in my stomach. I felt like a lot better after I ate. Called the doctor, or tried to, whoever picks up the phone, and they contacted the doctor, and then they asked the doctor what they think I should do. So by that time it was already 3 days. So I took it for 3 days and then stopped taking it for 3 days because of the uncomfortability. And they told me to just eat more food before I took it and try to eat food with fats. I'm not like go out of my way to try to eat like a whole bunch of foods with like higher fats. I'm just gonna like eat more food, I guess. Luckily for the past 12 days, how I've been feeling lately is I feel okay. I do notice my stomach growling at night, and just it's still a little uncomfortable. I can't exactly sleep right away. It does kind of bother my sleep, but it's manageable. It's not like, it's definitely not normal because I've never encountered that feeling before. Like it's definitely distinguishable, like from the time I started taking it and then before then, because I usually don't have too much trouble sleeping and I don't notice my stomach like grumbling and stuff like that. Overall my skin has been drier, like a lot drier. Mostly my face, I can feel that it does affect the rest of my body, but because the rest of my body isn't that dry in general, it's not too bad. But my face for sure is like super dry. And I do think that it's helping with the acne. It's, at first, my acne got a lot worse, I would say. I did do a quick video before I started taking it, so I don't know if that would be a good comparison, but I did notice that my acne got worse for at least the first 7 days. I think around day 10, it started getting better. It's strange because I did get like acne in strange places, like I would say my stomach right here, which I pretty much never get acne on my stomach, so I don't know why I did. I remember like one other spot, but I'm not exactly sure where. Might have been on my fist, but that is such a strange spot to get like acne on. But after that, hopefully everything goes well. I just would like to finally not have to worry so much about this after like at least 10 years now. It's crazy. It is getting better, but my skin is super dry on my face. I apply lip balm and hydrocortisone at night, so my lips are okay. My face, I'm using the CeraVe AM and PM, and they're not, I feel like they're not quite hydrating enough for this, because I still feel like my skin is like cracking at night. Like when I wake up and look at it, like it's definitely cracked all over before I moisturize and before I wash my face and moisturize. So I'll have to also ask the doctor about that. Hopefully the stomach thing isn't a big issue, because I mean, I want to fix this issue, but I don't want to like get a new issue, is my thing. So we'll see what happens. Okay, today is Tuesday, February 23rd, 2021. Just wanted to do an Accutane update. I actually was doing some of it earlier, but my mic was completely off. So let's just do a face check real quick. So this is the second month. I've taken it for about 60 days now for the 30 milligrams. So as you can see, I still clearly have acne, and there's a lot of acne scars and stuff like that. It's also in my chin area. But yeah, I just wanted to log my experience. Hopefully some viewers can find it useful. Okay, let's go ahead and do this in a more organized manner because I just did it earlier and it was so messy. Let's go ahead and start off in the beginning, just to update my experience in the first 2 months. So in the first month, I felt mistreated as a patient basically. So what happened was I got the blood work for my Accutane to see if I'm a good candidate for it basically. And then they scheduled me for a time 2 weeks after I would finish the medication, which is like 30 pills. And to me, it was weird because I got this consultation that, okay, Accutane is serious. We have to make sure that we are always checking up on you, stuff like that. And then they go ahead and schedule me 2 weeks after, which is weird because like, I'm supposed to be taking it consistently. Why would you schedule it 2 weeks after it runs out? So that happened, and I ended up calling them, telling them what's up. They said, oh, we can't do anything about that. And I was like, okay. So what happened was they asked me if I wanted to just do another doctor who was available. And I said, yes. So when I visited that doctor, they told me, okay, I need to do blood work before I go in, which is something they didn't communicate to me the first time. And then on the same day after I visited the doctor, the dermatologist, I went to do the blood work. It got sent in. They basically just, I had to call them a whole bunch. It took like about 5 days of calling the pharmacist and calling them. The pharmacist called them, and the pharmacist told them, okay, when you guys are done checking the blood work, give us the go ahead to do the refill. And then like a good amount of days passed, and I called the pharmacist, called them again, and the pharmacist told me that they were supposed to do that, and they just never did. So I don't know what was going on, because today I also visited the dermatologist. Yesterday I did the blood work, and I got the refill for the Accutane literally tonight, which is like the same day I visited the dermatologist. So it's like so weird that the timelines make no sense to me. It's just, I know they have a lot to do. I know I'm placing a lot of like my frustration on them right now, and that's not completely fair, but it just sucks to feel like I'm powerless, and like when they're taking a long time for stuff that is supposed to be serious, it just feels like they don't care, you know? So that's me venting literally a second time to the camera. So after the dermatologist visit the first time, my skin actually started to get like a little bit red on my arms and also in the front of my hands. It's not like that right now, but I didn't tell the dermatologist about it because I already visited them. And then like calling them, I don't get to talk to the dermatologist. I only talk to like someone that picks up the phone. So sometimes I ask for advice from them, but it takes a while to get back and stuff like that. So this time I didn't do that. Instead, I visited the pharmacist when I was supposed to pick up my Accutane. It's like in between that time that I started getting it. And then the pharmacist recommended this as a moisturizer, which is Eucerin. I got the Advanced Repair lotion for very dry skin, and it basically cured that dryness, and it alleviated the dryness and also cured the redness on my skin and stuff. And interestingly, my skin has never been like more moisturized or like smooth ever. I've used moisturizers like Vaseline and stuff like that before, but like the body lotion for Vaseline, but I guess it's just not as good as this, I guess. So that's something to note. I feel like that would be very helpful for people who have the same sort of really dry symptoms. Just try this moisturizer out, and I think it'll help you out. My skin's been really dry, my face, I mean, the rest of my body feels fine because of this. So I don't know, I asked the dermatologist, okay, like my face does feel really dry. I mean, that's an obvious side effect of Accutane, and I'm still using the CeraVe AM and PM, and he said that's good enough, like I don't need to do anything else. But part of me, it's kind of crazy that I feel like I can't trust my dermatologist, just because honestly, so many people have taken Accutane, right? Why not create a list of like, okay, if this happens, then you should do this. If this happens, you should do that. If my skin is really dry on my arms and my back, then you should try using this moisturizer. How come the pharmacist told me that and not the dermatologist? I personally think it's kind of crazy that that happened. I'm trying not to vent that much, but I do feel a little frustrated, and I'm sort of venting to the camera. Like I said earlier, I understand that, you know, things happen, and they're busy and stuff like that, but it just sucks to feel mistreated. Sucks to feel like, you know, you have to call them constantly to get stuff done when it's supposed to be serious and they're supposed to help you through this. I usually don't have to deal with this stuff. Usually I can do stuff on my own, look stuff up, and it's good. But for these things, you have to take blood tests and whatnot. It requires higher expertise, basically. And I'm glad that I actually got to learn about my blood test today, because for the first two, the dermatologist just didn't tell me anything about it. So I got to learn about the first blood test and the second one, and actually it's first, second, and third, because the first one was if I can take Accutane. So I got to look at that one, and my I can't remember exactly what it was. It was like cholesterol LPL or LDL or something like that. Something about the lipids, and those levels increased quite a lot. If you're around 100 or below, which originally I was, that's usually the benchmark for like, okay, it's at a healthy level. But right now it went to about 130 something, I think. 120 something and then 130 something. So it's going up a little bit. It's trending upwards. And the dermatologist told me, okay, we're gonna keep you on the 30 milligrams, but it would be better if like I could change my diet or increase the cardio in my workouts, because right now I just do calisthenics, strength training, so cardio is not really that much of a priority. But I am gonna start training for the Spartan race, so that is gonna become a priority, which is good. And it's good to know that and hear that from the dermatologist as well, because like, okay, now I'm sort of understanding what's going on instead of being in the dark for an entire month. And now that I know, I can change, you know, my behavior. There was one more thing that went up quite a lot. It had something to do with the liver. The way I remembered it is just like the level of breakdown in your liver. It's just higher than usual, and that also is something that, you know, Accutane can change. So, but at the same time, like, he did say the exercise and change in diet can help. So those are, again, two things that I will definitely try to do. And hopefully at that point, he said, if it becomes at a better level, I can take 2 30 milligram pills instead of just 1 per day. And that will probably help with the clearing of my acne faster. So yeah, that is my journey so far for 60 days of Accutane, being on Accutane. I mean, I do feel like the Accutane has made me more mellow than usual. Like I don't feel as energetic, or as like, I feel like my feelings are a little bit suppressed, but that could just be COVID as well. So it's like, I would not know. I mean, I do feel like I reflect quite a lot, and when I started Accutane, my overall like emotional gauge, or like my ability to feel emotion, has positive emotions, because I've been feeling negative ones at least for like I said, everything I've vented about. But for positive emotions, I feel like it's harder to feel them basically when I started. I don't feel depressed. They always ask that. I don't, like, I asked them, I literally asked them today, what does it mean to feel depressed, right? And then he said suicidal thoughts. And luckily for me, I've actually never really thought about that or like had suicidal thoughts and stuff like that. I know I'm very fortunate for that, and I'm grateful for that. So according to that definition, I'm not depressed. But I mean, in general, I do feel like I still enjoy the activities I do, which is like mainly piano and the calisthenics training, stuff like that. I have been keeping up with my journals and my dream journal, writing about every day, reflecting. So most of the stuff I'm doing, I'm still doing, and I'm still like making progress with it. So it's not like Accutane has affected me in that sense whatsoever. Yeah, so it's just like a sort of like a suppression on my positive feelings, just a little bit. And that might honestly just be a placebo or the opposite nocebo or something. I think that's gonna be it. That was quite a long update. I don't know if I'm gonna put the entire thing up. Bell constantly bothered me this entire time. Hopefully things go more smoothly from here. I genuinely do not want to call anybody out or anything like that. I'm not calling them out or anything. It's just when I feel this way, I sort of just have to express it. Like, it's just me venting. That's all. So let's hope this goes well. In terms of my skin, I mean, that's the main thing, even though I talked very little about it. I really want this to improve. Like, I'm so tired of having acne for like ever since high school. I just want it to end. I just want it to go away. Seriously, like it's been a hindrance, especially since, you know, I'm doing YouTube stuff. It's like I'm always gonna have a camera in front of me, and like to have so much acne is just annoying and makes me self-conscious, and I hate it basically. And it would be nice if this works out. Like overall, I feel like it's made a very slight difference. The doc has told me the redness on my face is gonna be something that's normal, which I have noticed my face is generally more red. I've been keeping out of the sun as much as possible, other than taking Belle out, which I have to do. Yeah, that's basically it. I hope that the 30 milligrams this month can at least keep my acne like at bay and not have any more breakouts, because in the second month I did have like slight breakouts, especially on my forehead and under the chin area. So let's see how things go from here. Yeah, I've said enough. I've said too much. Okay. Basically, I'm just gonna go over how I've been feeling, any issues that's come up for Accutane. Past 5 days I haven't been taking Accutane just because on Friday, or pretty much 1 week ago, I thought I had heart palpitations. Thought, because there's more to the story, but basically what happened was Thursday night I was editing my journal video. If you guys want to see that, I guess I'll put it somewhere. So got to bed at 1 a.m. and then couldn't sleep because firstly I felt like still energetic, and then I put my hand or my fingers like right next to my chest to feel my heartbeat because I felt like it was beating faster than usual. So maybe there were heart palpitations for a little bit at one point. There's certainly something that was different because like I've done it before and usually I don't notice my heart beating that fast. So it might have been some heart palpitations, but then like I felt it throughout the night, and then I felt it throughout the day again. So it was like a non-stop one, which I've never had ever. So I got pretty worried because, you know, I felt like something was wrong with my heart, and that could obviously lead to like heart attack or like death or whatever. So that's something that was very worrying. So, I stopped using Accutane last week. so that I could talk to the dermatologist about it. And basically they just told me like they don't have enough information to know for sure. So then I ended up seeing my general doctor and my primary care doctor, I think is what it's called. And well, I didn't actually see her. I ended up seeing a PA, a physical assistant, physician's assistant, there you go. And they didn't really know what was up either, except they, took my blood. I have to wait and see what they say about that. And then they gave me like a test, electrocardiogram test, and then they said my heartbeat seemed normal. So I have to visit a cardiologist, and the appointment is like 2-3 weeks from now. And I feel like by that time, if I had issues, they would have like became a problem. So I don't know, man, that the whole way they structure the medical system, it just doesn't seem very good to me, especially if you have like big issues. Like by the time you get to the doctor, those issues will already become even bigger, or like would have taken their toll on your body. So it's like, you sort of have to do things on your own. And that's sort of what I did. I've been trying to like figure out, okay, maybe it was a nocebo. Maybe it was just me playing myself. Maybe I was tricking my brain thinking, okay, like what if it's just my muscle that's sore, and that's why I'm paying attention to my left chest way more often. I mean, like my right chest is also slightly sore, not as much as my left. My right leg right here is sore while my left one isn't. So it's pretty common, I think, to have one side be more sore than the other. So then that's what I was thinking. And then after that thought, it actually felt a lot better, which was weird because it sort of made my brain go away from the whole like my heart had a problem to it's just my muscle that is what I'm feeling. I mean, I was completely normal. I could still run the next day, and I still did the training program, which like consisted of handstands, I think skin the cat, stuff like that. So it's like I could do all of that normally and totally fine, and I could still run and I'd be totally fine. I didn't have shortness of breath or any of the stuff that they kept asking me. So for the most part, if I felt healthy, just the issue was that I could feel my heartbeat way more. And then I ended up last night feeling my heartbeat simply anywhere. So it didn't really make much sense to me. Like through my fingers touching anywhere, I could feel like my heart pulsing. Even, especially when I put my fingers together like this, I just felt my heart pulsing continuously. So I think what happened, what made me feel like I had heart palpitations, was when I put my finger to my heart, it could feel 2 beats, which was my heartbeat, and then whatever transferred to my finger, that slight delay. I don't know if any of that even makes sense, but it's what I feel, and I know that's like true, because like I could do it right here and I'd still feel what I perceived to be a heartbeat, but like I thought it was from this area while it was actually coming from my fingers, which is very confusing, to be honest. So that tripped me out. Like I was like, okay, so this isn't actually heart palpitations. This is just me feeling my heartbeat twice. And I've never had that before. The doctors never indicated that that could happen. So I just sort of figured that out on my own and have concluded that I'm totally fine. I mean, if none of the symptoms are an issue, or like I have none of the symptoms of like a heart attack or anything that indicates heart issues, then I should be okay. But again, don't take this as medical advice or anything like that. It's just me sort of trying to figure things out because the doctors literally couldn't tell me anything. They just told me that like it could be caused by Accutane. They don't know. So that's generally like what I know already. So I'm gonna probably just start taking the Accutane again. I mean, the dermatologist went over the risks of it again, like saying that it could cause instantaneous death or whatever. And I'm like, wow, that's gives me a lot of confidence about taking this thing. But I mean, I've been okay so far, and the acne has been getting better. I know I talk about the side effects and whatnot quite like way more often than I do my face. I do feel like my face overall has been getting better, like slowly. Like my scars are still there, and that pretty much causes most of my face to look like, you know, there's still acne and whatnot. So it's mainly the scars, but in terms of acne, I still get it once in a while. It's not like as much as before, for sure. Because I looked back at like a video from December and then looking back at the one from last month, for sure I had more acne before versus now. Yeah, so acne has been improving overall. That issue I feel like is a non-issue. So this is just my thoughts. I don't want to discredit any doctors or anything, but like I do feel like a lot of the process goes into how much the patient is aware of their own situation and can tell them like, this happened, this happened, this happened. I think it's this, I've been feeling this. It's like the ability for the patient to reflect on what's happened is 80% of how the doctor ends up diagnosing you. So it's kind of weird to me that that's the case, because I feel like my sister's a veterinarian, so for like an animal, they have to like do heavy checking because the animal can't talk to them. So they have to like really check everything to make sure everything's okay. And like the process that they do, it just seems so much more thorough to me, versus like me just talking and then them telling me based off of what I said, like what I should do. So it's like almost me influencing the doctor in terms of like what I should do. Which doesn't make sense to me, because if you have a patient that's like very unaware or very misled by their own mind, it's not going to turn out well. But again, I'm not trying to discredit doctors or anything, or like the medical field in general. I'm just saying that's been my experience or what I've been feeling. I know it's very difficult for them to like, especially during COVID, I suppose, to do more thorough checkups, I suppose. But those are just my thoughts on my own experience. I'm sure other people have had great experiences with doctors and whatnot. There's not been much else other than my nose, the inside of my nose feeling super dry very often. Oh, also, I mean, this is super important. After doing the blood test and giving it to the dermatologist, they looked at the levels again, and it's funny because, I mean, it makes sense. They're not gonna like completely remember, but I'd hope that they check before the patient comes in. But I suppose it doesn't make sense to do that since they have so many patients. But either way, the doctor didn't remember like what the last results were, so I had to remind him and then tell him, okay, yeah, he did mention something about the liver thing, levels going up to a slightly unhealthy level, and then the LDL cholesterol was around 130 something last time, and then now this time it went to 116, 117, right about the 110s, which he said was trending down now. So he didn't actually say it, but he implied that he wanted to put me on 60 milligrams versus 30. And before he said that, I explained the situation, and then I said I wanted to just play it safe and just stick with 30 milligrams and see if I have that thing with the heart thing. Of course, this was before I actually figured all the finger thing out. So maybe I could be on 60 milligrams right now and it would be okay, but I'm just gonna try 30 milligrams again. Like it was pretty much my decision. So I'm gonna do 30 milligrams again and then see where that takes me. If there's no issues and I'm still at a healthy level for my cholesterol, then I'll try 60 milligrams. I'm saying this like I have full control over this thing, which scares me because I feel like it should be them guiding me on what to do. But again, this is me, I suppose, just complaining. Don't take this too heavily. I'm not trying to criticize this system or whatever. It's just my experience that I feel like I'm just expressing my thoughts on my experience. So yeah, that's good. The running seemed to have helped. I've been running consistently at least 4 to 5 times a week in the mornings, in between morning and noon, sometimes closer to like 11. As the weather heats up, that's probably not going to be possible, but I think that's it. Acne overall is better. Still have scars, still doesn't look clear yet, but it's heading towards the right direction. And then the cholesterol thing is also heading towards the right direction. Still on 30 milligrams. Hopefully things go well with my heart palpitation thing. Hopefully it's not like an issue. I feel fine, which is good. And let's just see how this goes, because I mean, the running has been great. I should probably just mention that after doing the running, I've been overall the way I feel has just been better. Like, I think while I was on Accutane and not running, not doing any cardio or anything, I felt heavier. My body felt like something was weighing it down. I'm not entirely sure what, but now I feel overall lighter inside, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So if you're on Accutane and this is an issue that you're feeling, like you're feeling just down a lot, or like inside your body just feels heavy in some way, try running. It'll probably help, because it definitely helped me. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Obviously, I'm not gonna upload this as like an individual thing, even though maybe I should, but right now I'm just not feeling it. So I'll probably just do a compilation at the end. So I just finished my 4th month of Accutane. It's getting hard to track which month it is because it's been a fair amount now. Visited the doctor last week, but didn't really get a chance to sit down and talk to the camera about it. Let's just do a quick face check. Let's see if I can get closer to the camera with making sure I'm still in frame. Okay. Okay, hopefully I was in focus. Overall, my acne has definitely gotten better, I'd say. And at least compared to like when I began, for sure it's better. Compared to last month, I do think it's better, just not as noticeable, because you know, when you're you, it's sort of, you see yourself every day and the changes are hard to see. That's why I'm doing this video, so I can actually look back, compare it to the very beginning, and also compare the end to right now and see how it looks. I just woke up like 30 minutes ago, so I might sound a bit tired, I guess. About to actually go for a run, but nothing too much to update other than that. The visit was very short. I just went in. He asked me how everything is. Side effects, still a lot of dryness, I'd say. Not as much as the beginning, for sure. There's still dryness, especially around my lower chin area, or this area beneath my mouth. You can't really see it in the camera because I just moisturized as well. I just put on sunscreen. After a while, throughout the day, especially if I'm outside, my area right here will get dry and noticeable, because my cousins have mentioned it before. My best tip is just be honest. I was just like, yeah, I'm on medication for acne. And it's fine. I don't really mind it too much. It's like, it's just dryness. And if the acne isn't as bad as before, I'm happy about that. I'm generally happier about, you know, not having acne that compared to before. Because before it would be a problem that's holding a big presence in my head, which was very annoying because, you know, I don't want to be focused on that. I'd rather be focused on like, you know, what I'm doing, practicing piano, doing YouTube stuff, just whatever, instead of like worrying about, oh, you know, I have so much acne. So that is something that I've definitely noticed that's different. I feel a lot better about that. And I'd say in general, I still act the same, you know, because back then my mindset was, oh, it doesn't matter that I have acne. I'm just gonna act the way I want. Although sometimes, you know, it can be difficult when, you know, you have a huge breakout happen and it just sucks because you feel very self-conscious. So I can say that I'm glad about the fact that I haven't had that in the past 2 months. The redness is still sort of there. and the doctor said it was from Accutane. It's better than before, I'd say, the redness overall, but it's still there, and happy with where this is going. Hopefully it continues to go that way. My cholesterol levels are the same. I don't know how much running is helping with keeping that down. It's the exact same as before, which is, you know, I'm still running the same amount, so, or similar amount, running a little bit more. So I can't exactly say the running is what saved it or made it that way. It might just be my body acclimated to it. So maybe you don't have to run, but I'd still just do it for the sake of like having cardio in your routine, which is something I'm gonna actually talk about pretty soon in a different video. But that's gonna be it for this one. It's just a quick update. I know it's not the most enthusiastic update just because I just woke up and my voice actually sounds deeper than usual to myself. But we'll see what happens moving forward. I'm very hopeful that the one thing I really hope for is this is permanent. What are you doing, Belle? That this is permanent. I just want it to be like a one and done type of thing. Like after I take the Accutane, I don't have to worry about the acne like coming back in a very, very bad way. I still had some acne, like at least 3 or 4 times, just like a pimple pop up or something. I still had one like right here if you can't see it. So it's not like it's all gone, but it's definitely way better than before. So yeah. Still gotta work on my endings. And my face as well. Just gonna do okay, it is June 3rd and pretty much my second to last visit to the dermatologist for Accutane, hopefully. I have 1 more month of doing this thing and I just wanted to do the progress update that I usually do each month. So this is how my face looks at the current moment. So compared to, you know, the beginning, it's definitely way better. I'd say I still have a lot of scars, and that's why my face isn't like perfectly clear. And the dermatologist said that I can do stuff for that afterwards, after I'm done with the last month. So I probably will, and I'll ask him like, oh, what can I do? Stuff like that. So once I finish the last month, then we'll tackle these scars. But for now, it's good that I hardly get acne too much these days. So new acne, I don't really get much. I think in the past month I've gotten either 1 or 2, and that is pretty great compared to back then where I'd pretty much be breaking out constantly. So it's definitely helped for sure. It's hard to feel, you know, because like unless you actually recorded each month like I am and look back on it, it's hard to see the progress, because like you still look at yourself in the mirror and you still see the scars and whatnot, and in some ways you can be disappointed, but when you look back, for sure it's just a big improvement, and I'm happy about that. I just want it to last. That's what the main thing I'm worried about is, that I stop using Accutane and then I start breaking out again. That is something I'm extremely worried about. If that happens, then I feel like, you know, Accutane didn't really effectively work. It sort of just had a temporary period where I didn't break out as much. So hopefully we'll see what happens. I won't actually post the video until after 1 to 2 months later for the acne thing, because I feel as if I were to post it right after I finish, I don't think that would be an accurate representation to what's actually reality, because if I still get acne after that, I'd be showing you something that's basically false. So let's not do that. Yeah, I mean, it was just a super quick visit to the dermatologist. Nothing much was done or said. Literally, like, went in, said, yes, I still feel dryness. You know, they asked the usual questions, like, do you feel depression or suicidal thoughts, stuff like that. And then they ask if there's any side effects, and I just said it's just mainly dryness. And then after I got my blood work last week, I felt like my left chest was a little, like sometimes I would feel pain when I breathed in a lot or breathed out a lot, but it was very small. It's still a little worrying because it's like my left chest, which is where my heart is, so hopefully it has nothing to do with that. It went away after like 2 days, so I'm guessing it wasn't much. So I did mention it to them, but they didn't really say much about that. So, and I still am exercising and feeling healthy, so it should be fine. Just something to mention, I guess. But yeah, that's the update for this month, and I have 1 more month to go. I will say I haven't been like, when that started happening with my left chest, I stopped taking it just for like 3 days, about 3 to 4 days. And then I retook it again on Monday. So I got the blood work last week. That happened, stopped taking about 4 days, and started taking it again. It seems to be okay. Like I asked the doctors, is it okay that I stopped taking it for like 4 or 5 days? And then they're like, yeah, it's totally fine. So yeah, but I'm gonna be consistent with it from here on. I think I will have some left over, but we'll see what happens. This is supposed to be the final month, or at least I finished the final month. It's July 9th, Friday, and I am supposed to be done with Accutane, so I'm just gonna do a quick face check. My hair is whack, don't mind my hair. Yeah, so overall I think that my acne is a lot better compared to the beginning, obviously, but I had some leftovers for Accutane, and when I asked the dermatologist whether or not I should take the leftovers, he said no. But then I did some research online, and their dermatologist told them to just take the leftovers because, you're supposed to reach a certain amount, like a cumulative total dosage. And that's why it sort of confuses me to why my dermatologist said, okay, you don't have to. But at the same time, I can take a hint, or I can make a guess. Like my dermatologist always like forgets me. Like he doesn't remember anything we talk about, but from before, like for instance, I've told him that, oh yes, I had to miss a few days because, I was worried because I didn't feel like, I felt something weird either going on with my like heart palpitations, or I was gonna go to the beach or something, so I wanted to just not take Accutane that day to alleviate some of the dryness. And I've told him those things, but he just doesn't remember at all. So, so then at the end he was like, oh, you missed a few days? Like he asked me that question. I'm like, dude, I've told you multiple times, like each month, and he just doesn't remember. And like he has to look at the clipboard to remember my name as well. So I'm like, I'm not sure I trust this guy that much. I rather trust like online dermatologist than the guy standing in front of me, Like I've talked about this before in my previous vlogs, I guess. It's just, I feel like in the beginning they mistreated me as a patient, and as time went on, it was better, like everything was clear to me on what I should do, and I've been diligent about what I should do. But then whenever I visit, it's like super fast. He doesn't remember anything that, like I said, from the previous visits, and it's like, check the blood work, it looks okay, you're good to go, and then just take more. And then he can't remember the dosage amount as well. Like he always asks me like, oh, we're on like 60 milligrams, right? And then I'm like, no, we've always been on 30 milligrams. Like we've never been on 60. And then he asked that question multiple times in different months. And I'm like, God, I just feel like it's so easy to just be like, okay, look at my record. He's been on 30 milligrams. He said this from before. Okay, cool. And then go in and actually try to remember my name and just like make me feel like you actually care about my progress as a patient, Like that, I feel like that's bare minimum of like what a doctor should do, but I am complaining, and I don't like complaining. It's just, I wanted to give my final thoughts on the entire process. overall, and obviously the dermatologist is going to be part of that process, and it definitely wasn't a great process. The Accutane itself, luckily all I got was dry skin, mainly on my lips and the surrounding areas. Nowhere else was that dry except like in the beginning, my arms. I talked about it. I used the Eucerin thing that the pharmacist recommended me. I will say that when I went to the beach, I got pretty sunburnt. So that's that's just mainly because I went in the water and then I didn't reapply sunscreen. So I feel like back then, before I took Accutane, I definitely didn't burn as fast because I wasn't in the sun for that long. So that's just something to be wary of. Like, you will definitely burn faster. This is where I'm at, but it doesn't quite feel like the end yet, since I still have like a good 20 or so pills left. So I'm just gonna take all of that, and then after that's done, I'm gonna do another recording just to update, and then from there I'm going to wait a month and then basically do another recording to see how it's like 1 month after I finished Accutane, so that, you know, I looked online and people say they don't really relapse until like a lot later, but I'll see what happens after a month and then do a final recording about the whole experience. But I guess I just wanted to get some of that off of my chest because, oh my god, I really don't like that dermatologist person. It's just, either way, I'm glad that the treatment is working. That's the most important part, and that's why I'm like, okay, don't think about it too much. Don't like worry about, you know, the patient-doctor experience. Just, it's working. So just be happy about that. So yeah, that's like last month, the month of June, I don't think I got a single, like, how do I say it? Like a single pimple, I guess. So the previous months I would get occasionally like 1 or 2. But then last month, I don't think I got a single one, which was really good. It means that it gives my acne scars more time to heal, and it helps with just clearing my face in general. So let's hope that continues. And I'm just gonna take the rest of the pills. I'm not even gonna reach the cumulative dose that I'm supposed to reach. I read online that it's like about 120 milligrams per kilograms, which means like, depending on what your kilograms is, it should be 120 times that, basically. So for me, I'm about 60 kilograms, and 120 times 60, that is 720, I believe. Sorry, 7,200. Let me just make sure. Yeah, 7,200, and then I have to reach that amount of dosage. But then I've been only taking 30 milligrams, so that's 30 per day. That's 30 days in a month, and then for 6 months, so times 6. So I've only gotten up to 5,400, which is a lot less than 7,200. But the doctor has not mentioned any of that at all. And like I said, he keeps thinking that I've taken like 60 milligrams, so I don't even know if he's counting. So that slightly worries me, but considering my acne is a lot better, I just hope I don't relapse. That's like the primary thing that I'm worried about. But I suppose if I had to like do Accutane again and actually reach the cumulative dose, I mean, I should honestly call the doctor and make sure, because I think that's obviously very important to know, especially since online they say you should try to reach this, otherwise you might relapse. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna write it down right now, otherwise I won't do it. So let's write it down. Okay, so hopefully 5,400 is enough. It's like 1,000 off. So we'll see what happens. That's gonna be it for now. I'll catch you guys in the next update, which will probably be about 20 days from now. Okay, I don't know if the white balance might be slightly different. I'll try to fix it. This is just my skin after completely finishing up the leftovers. My hair is in the way, I guess. Okay, so like I said, I'm completely done with Accutane now. Hopefully I never have to take it again. This last month, I don't know why, in particular this last month when I was just finishing off the leftovers against my dermatologist's advice, I guess, because he said I didn't have to, but I looked it up online like I mentioned before. Anyways, I finished it up. I'm like super happy now because the last month it was so tough to finish it for some reason. I just like felt like it was a drag. Before this month, it was pretty easy to just be like, okay, I'm gonna take it every day. It's pretty normalized, it's whatever's. But then for some reason, this last one, every day was just like, why do I have to do this? This is annoying. My skin feels like super dry. And it's also like, last month was July, so it was definitely the hottest month so far. Because a lot of days were like 100 degrees Fahrenheit last month, so it was probably drier, made my skin feel drier, and at some point my arm also got like that super dryness again. I guess I wasn't as good keeping up with the lotion that I mentioned, the Eucerin one, but I applied it again and it was helpful and it was good, so it's good now. But again, this is a lot of information at once, but I am very happy to have finished it completely, and my skin is generally better. Of course, there's still a good amount of scars and redness, so like I literally just took the last pill today. So all 6 months pills, except for one, because one of them was so smashed up somehow. It was in my backpack, I guess. So I guess like I missed one out of the 30 times 6. So I took 179 pills, 30 milligrams each. So yeah, this is now August 10th. I missed a few days for leftovers. Should have finished last month, but whatevers. We're done now. Let's see what happens after 1 month. The ideal, optimal outcome is that my skin becomes less red and dry, but at the same time, the acne doesn't come back. So that is just what I'm hoping for. Like, I'm praying for that so hard. It's just, please, don't let the acne come back, because I'm going to be so frustrated by that. But we'll see what happens. I'm glad that I tried it. I'm glad that I was able to just like get through this last month of taking it, even though I didn't want to. This was like the only month I'd say like that was super hard taking it, except the beginning, other than the beginning. So interesting thing to note, I guess. I don't want to take it again, to be completely honest. The dry skin, like occasionally my friends would mention that my skin is like reddish or like super dry. So, you know, that's how obviously it is. So that's how the medication makes it. So that's pretty much it. We're done with Accutane. I'm happy about it, and we're gonna see how things go 1 month from now, and from there, it's just gonna be a journey of trying to figure out how to fix up these scars, basically. All right, signing off now. Later. Okay, that's a little bit better. Here is a face check. Okay, I'm gonna back up now. Okay, so despite my hair looking different every single time, and perhaps better on certain days than others, my face in general has definitely gotten better since the beginning. Anyways, so this is about a month and a half after it's September 19th. So I completely finished it, the leftovers, done, was happy about it, and now it's been a month later, and interestingly, the first thing, you know, you can see my face. I'm not sure how it looked compared to last month, but I did get a few whiteheads, and that was kind of surprising to me because, well, I was hoping that I wouldn't get any whiteheads. Right now I don't have any, but it was, I think 2 weeks ago, like right about a month later, that I started getting whiteheads, and they're like, you know, really small, like super hard to notice from a distance, but I still could notice it because, you know, I just looked closely in the mirror, and not happy about it, but I wasn't like freaking out because I did have a dream where I was like, I looked in the mirror and had acne again. I was like, oh god. So the dream sort of prepped me for like, just in case it happened in reality, and it sort of did, but it wasn't like terrible. I just got the whiteheads and I felt okay about it. And from there, I washed my face a couple times. Didn't touch it, didn't like, actually I think the first one or two, I did like scratch it off. So it was like very easy to scratch off, but that's still not a good idea. And then the next ones, I just never touched it and they just went away. So I was pretty surprised about that as well. They, like, you couldn't really notice where it was previously. So it was, I've never had that before for like a whitehead. Usually it just stays for a very long time. And I had a bad habit of like picking it before. Gladly, I don't have to do that now. Hopefully it stays that way too. Like the fact that it just disappears after like washing my face once or twice. And I don't wash my face like super vigorously, so it's not like I'm scratching it off inadvertently. So yeah, that's the state of my face right now in terms of whether or not acne is coming back. And at this moment, I'm pretty happy with the way it is. If it continues to be like exactly like this, you know, I'll be okay with it. Obviously, I still want to get rid of the scars and everything, but I'm aware it's going to take some time for that, and I need to figure out like what scar treatment I should get into. That's like the next step. But of course, at first, I want to know that I'm not going to continue to get acne. Otherwise, you get the scar treatment and then you still get acne and then you get more scars. So it's kind of pointless. So I'm at that stage where I'm observing what's happening, and this is where I'm at 1 month after I've completely stopped. So obviously this is going to be an ongoing thing, but for now I'm satisfied with the results of Accutane. I'm happy that I did it. Compared to the beginning, I definitely have clearer skin, and I am going to make this video, or I'm going to make my summary video. And as a sign off for the compilation video, I suppose the reason you would be watching it is because, you know, you're wondering whether or not you should take Accutane, or maybe you have taken it before and you're just curious about other people's experiences. But in the first case, where you're wondering whether or not you should take it, I recommend at least trying. At first, if you watch my summary video, at first I decided not to take it because of all the side effects that was stated, and I looked it up and people were like, oh, I still have these side effects even though I stopped taking it. And I'm like, oh god, I don't want to like deal with that, you know? So even after I decided not to take it like 3-4 years ago, well, my skin got worse and worse and worse. So I was like, crap, what can I do? Like the dermatologist gave me this new cream that is still not working. And so Accutane was sort of just the only option I felt might have helped and made a difference in the direction that my acne was headed towards. So I just went with it. I gave in. But I'm glad I did. I'm glad I tried it and stuck with it, even though, you know, the first month or first few months really were kind of hectic and just not so good of an experience. But the results, like the way my face is now, even if it's not like super like the clearest it's ever been, it's still definitely better than before, and to me that makes it worth it. So that's my best advice. Just try it, and if the side effects get like super bad, then you know you'll have to stop, talk to your doctor and whatnot. So you won't know unless you try. Alright, it's time for me to make the summary video, and if you guys are curious about, you know, the progress moving forward, because I probably won't really, maybe I'll make one more video about like acne stuff if I figure out a good place for scar treatment and whatnot, but I probably won't do too many updates, so you can just watch my latest video and see like how my face looks. So that'd be the easiest way to know whether or not the treatment was permanent, I guess, or long-lasting. Tweet me as well. Just if you have any questions, hit up my Twitter, DM me. I'm pretty open to that. As long as you're polite and, you know, a cool person, don't hesitate, you know? I'll do my best to answer any questions that you guys have. So, and leave a comment if you want to. So I'll catch you guys in the summary video if you haven't already watched that. And if not, I'll catch you guys in later videos, hopefully. See you guys.